What happened in the previous chapter was that Kafka accepted the core created by the mysterious samurai using his own heart, allowing him to still transform into his Kaiju No. 8 form, in exchange for never being able to return to being human again. Would sacrificing his humanity be worth it for the power capable of defeating the Dai Kaiju of the Meiriki era? Let's find out. We continue the story in chapter 119. Kafka continues to transform here because of the core inserted into his body. He was once again enveloped by the souls of fallen samurai from the Meiriki era, while the words "the shame" emerged from them. While this was happening, the mysterious samurai wondered if he could contain the grudge that had spanned 400 years. Kafka quickly got his attention by pushing him to move so they could kick their enemy's ass together, and he added that he would shoulder the entire burden that comes to this decision. In the outside world, the unconscious body of Kaiju No. 8's wrist moved slightly, catching Mina's attention. Because she thought it really moved, she immediately asked the control room about Kafka's vitals. An assistant responded that there was still no response, and it appeared that Kafka was dead. Mina carefully considered whether she had just imagined the movement, but quickly brushed off that thought and said no. She explained that according to the 1st Division's report, when Kafka lost consciousness during his fight with Isao, he automatically reverted to his human form. She added that the fact that his body remained transformed after all this time was unnatural, so Mina was certain that Kafka hadn't given up on their fight yet. Suddenly, there was an explosion behind Mina, reminding her that Hashina and Narumi were still fighting. Inside the control room, Kurusu saw the status readings of the two, showing that Numbers Weapon 1's output had decreased by 15%, while Numbers Weapon 10 was down by 12%. According to him, it wouldn't be long before those would overheat. We then go to the battle, where Hashina was moving quickly towards the monster. Ten told him to attack as the situation was worsening, to which he responded that he knew. Hashina explained that the Daikaiju's attacks were incomprehensible, with Narumi only foreseeing and diverting them, allowing him to dodge any direct hits. He pointed out that Number 1's retina was the key to this battle. After that, we were shown Narumi keeping pace with the Daikaiju, but it kept blocking him. He commented in his thoughts that this was strange because although he could read its signals, it still managed to stop his attacks that should have been sure hits. Additionally, his future sight wasn't working when there were multiple possible futures. He carefully observed the monster's body, and there he realized that this creature hadn't shown them everything yet. He saw the Daikaiju's abomination of a body before it entered 9, and upon seeing this, he realized that was the cause of all his problems. Narumi's status numbers in the control room began to rise, surprising the assistant watching them. The signal sources inside the Kaiju's body were in the hundreds, which caught Hashina's attention. The assistant couldn't believe that Narumi could read all of those simultaneously. Narumi quickly charged forward and tried to attack again. He sent a powerful slash toward the Daikaiju's side, managing to connect the hit. Hashina was surprised that Narumi read the monster's attack and commented that he truly was the biggest monster around. Because of this, they simultaneously rained attacks on the monster, managing to hit its body. This prompted Hashina to comment that Narumi's effort to chip away at its defense was working because they're now managing to hit the Daikaiju. Narumi shouted at Hashina, calling him bowl cut and saying there wasn't enough force in his attacks. Hashina responded by yelling that he should be the one saying that, and noted that Narumi looked exhausted. He also thought that they only had seconds left before they both overheated, so this might be their last chance. Hashina took his stance and immediately used number 7, 12-layered strike, quickly showering the Daikaiju with numerous attacks. While charging, he said in his mind that he would give it everything, while the intensity of Narumi's attacks was visible on his face. Unfortunately, Narumi's entire body pulsed strongly, signaling overheating, which worried both Hashina and Kurusu. Hashina wondered if Narumi had reached his limits, but suddenly Narumi regained vigor and found new strength. Kurusu noticed that Narumi had overridden the control of weapons number 1, which concerned him, while Hashina told Narumi this was too much and his brain would fry if he continued. However, Narumi wasn't deterred and shouted to let that happen. This caught Kurusu's attention and reminded him of what happened to Isao before. In Narumi's mind, he was saying to himself that he was the go-between. Even if he met his end today, he said, the next soldiers in line were more than ready. He would give them as much time as he could, even if just a second, and gather whatever information he could about the creature they were fighting. His and Hashina's barrage of attacks continued toward the Daikaiju, while he thought that all he needed to do was pass the baton that Isao had passed to him to the next line. While preparing to deliver a powerful vertical strike and questioning if he was right to Isao, he didn't expect to be impaled by the Daikaiju in his left chest. His eyes widened in shock, and both Nagazaka and Keiji were stunned by this development. Hashina commented worriedly in his mind that even though Narumi could see the monster's attacks, his body couldn't keep up anymore. While thinking this, he was suddenly hit by the Daikaiju's whiplash attack that solidly struck his side, throwing him forcefully into nearby debris. After that, the monster turned to Narumi, seeing him kneeling behind it, appearing like he has no more hope based on the look in his eyes and face. Because of this, the monster decided to use its incantation attack on Narumi. The monster placed the incantation vertically across his entire body, which alarmed Kurusu. Kurusu shouted his name in concern, while Narumi weakly said he had passed the baton. Narumi suddenly looked to his right, where someone was rapidly charging toward them. It turned out Kafka had regained consciousness and returned with renewed vigor, which surprised the Daikaiju. As Kafka got very close to them, he delivered an extraordinary right body blow to the monster, so powerful that it managed to disfigure the Daikaiju's body. Narumi grinned at this and told Kafka to show him his skills. And there it is. Our hero returns to the battle. Now, will he be able to defeat the strongest kaiju he ever faced? Let's wait and see.